Hi, welcome to NonStopChess channel. This video is about smother's mate. Paul Morphy, at a very young age, focused on checkmate than the regular exchange of pieces. In this game, he opted to win with the most amazing smother's mate instead. Let's start with the game. In the game, Paul Morphy, playing white, started with e4. This game he played against his uncle at a very young age. So at a young age itself, if he is sacrificed so many pieces, shows his childhood capability of being a prodigy and looking moves much far ahead. Let's enjoy the game. So for e4, his uncle played e5. Paul Morphy developed his king side, moved his knight to f3, attacking the e5. His uncle played nc6 and defended the e5 pawn. e4 is usually the d4 move is played to attack from the beginning. Else they develop the bishop and try to do the castle. Here his uncle takes the pawn and Morphy sacrifices the pawn and goes for development. So he plays bishop c4, targeting the f7 square. His uncle gives a check. Morphy defends with c3. His uncle captures with the d pawn c3, and Morphy again sacrifices one more pawn and does castle. His uncle now takes the pawn on b, and Morphy now takes it with the bishop. Let's now look into the position to see how, though Paul Morphy looks like he sacrificed, he's activated both his bishop. His white bishop is now strongly attacking the f7 square, and his black bishop is now strongly attacking the g7 square. Now black, since the g7 pawn is under attack, has to protect it. So he thinks if he moves the knight to f6, Morphy will be pushing the pawn and threatening it. So instead, his uncle uses the bishop to go back and defend it. In chess, the most important thing is development of king side. Now his uncle, instead development, goes back. So this, I think, must have made Morphy to sacrifice and go for the win, since he violated the opening rule, not developing the king side and again moving back the bishop to its base position. Let us see how Morphy now make use of this and wins. So he pushes the e pawn and his uncle responds with d6. Now Paul Morphy plays rook e1. His uncle takes it with the d pawn into e5. Here Morphy could have easily taken the queen and exchanged it and could have got the pawn on f7 and gained an advantage. But he never did it and went for knight into e5. Now knight into e5 looks like a very simple move, but it is attacking the f7 square and trying to make black not castle. So Paul Morphy again, you can see, though sacrificed, he's got a much better position playing white. His uncle now, instead of trying to protect the f7 square with his knight, he could have played knight h6, but rather he goes for queen into queen. Here usually we will take the queen with the rook, but Morphy does a beautiful move. He does bishop into f7 check. Here Paul Morphy, you can see, has actually sacrificed his queen. Black now has the option to go to the D, move his king to the D square, D8, or to king E7. If he moves to king D8, the rook will capture with a check and its advantages. So instead he moves the king to E7. Now again Paul Morphy does a beautiful sacrifice. So now there is a double check. So black is forced to move his king. He again can move to the D square. Instead, what black did is just captured the bishop on f7. And now Paul Morphy finally played the brilliant smothered mate move here, using his knight into h8 and mate, where the king doesn't have any square to move because the rook is covering the e file and the bishop is blocking the f6 square and the knight blocks the g6 square. So hope you all enjoyed this fantastic smothered mate by Paul Morphy, and look forward to more such videos from Non-Stop Chess. Thank you.